There comes a time in the course of any renovation where deposits have been paid, your floors are stripped, your paint is primed, there are electrical wires hanging from your wall, where you take a look around and you think, maybe it's better to just cut my losses now, retreat back to America, and buy a house for about the same amount that I would be able to get from this so-called investment and just start all over. Or maybe that's just how I've been feeling about our renovation project. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Lisa, and this is my old Swiss home. My husband and I are Americans living in Switzerland, and this is our first big home project. This house has not undergone any renovations in over 40 years, and so it has many of its original features, but it has so much potential. We have already done a lot of the design and selections, and now we're in the it's very dirty and messy before it gets better stage. We've been living in the house for about 10 months now, and I know the advice that people give about not rushing into a renovation, to live in the space, get to know it, let the space get to know you, know where your light is, understand your foot traffic. And we did that. We've been doing that. We spent the majority of this year planning, prioritizing, and talking to a lot of different people. I don't normally think of myself as a glass half empty person, but when I look around here after the 10 months that we've spent, it's hard for me not to see all the work that still needs to get done.
If you've been watching my channel, then you know that I love to start projects and then leave them undone for 4 to 6 months and then pick them up again.
And I think for most people who are working with a budget, this is what you sign up for when you decide to move into a fixer-upper. And this I now understand in the deepest, most intimate of ways. But I blame Instagram for the false advertising because, as it turns out, you can have a 1 year before and after, where the after basically looks like the before, but with open walls and some stripped up floors. When you decide to do this, to renovate an old home, you sign yourself up for a process, a journey, a peeling back of the onion. And you see your house in different stages. The stage where you first move in and you feel like everything is messed up and broken. The stage where you start to fix some things, but then you discover about 10 new things that need to be fixed after you fix that first thing. The stage where you start to see a little bit of progress, and the stage where you actually see your vision come to life. Honestly, I don't know a lot about those later stages because I'm definitely in the very chaotic, messy, half-started, don't know when these things are going to get finished stage. The hardest part about it all is you're working with real money and there are just mistakes abound. And a couple weeks ago, we decided to write one of those big mistakes that we made. I think it's the 25th of June. We are leaving Geneva for 5 weeks. So we have about 4 days to get all the half-finished stuff in this house kind of like organized a bit before we leave. In the midst of all this, we also decided to change our general contractor. So there hasn't really been any progress with the actual renovations, but our hope is to be able to make a decision on a new GC this week. It's Thursday, so I have to make a decision either today or tomorrow. And then like hand over the keys to them so that they can start doing stuff while we're gone, so that when we come back, some progress can be made. Sometimes all of it feels like you're surfing in new waters. It's like you're getting dragged and pulled and pounded. You can barely recuperate from the last blow before you get pulled under again. Also, of course, last night we realized that we don't have hot water. This happens sometimes with our very old Mazout heating system. This function, this self-regulation function is broken. Sometimes we just don't have hot water. Now we could like invest in fixing this heating thing, but we don't want to because we plan to change to a pompe à chaleur or like a air-to-air or air-to-water pump next year. But in the meantime, we just have to deal with these like intermittent phases where we don't have hot water. So now I need to call the place. And amidst the heat of this situation and the literal heat outside from the heat wave that's been happening in Europe, I couldn't help feel some level of embarrassment for the way that all of this is going down.
Honestly, the current stage of the renovation that we are in has been very challenging. There's so many half-done things. And then, of course, amidst all of these items being half open, we also have the issue of the fact that we decided to change our entreprise générale. And basically, the reason why we did that is because it just wasn't working. We just didn't feel like the working styles were aligned. And there were also some issues just in terms of the transparency of the cost of things here. So we decided to make a change, and that has definitely cost us time, but I think it will be better in the long run.
But now that's left us in the very messy position of trying to find and secure somebody for this work that can still progress while we're gone for the next 5 weeks. Meanwhile, all of our bathroom elements like our toilet, our bathtub, our faucets, our tile, and even our flooring have all arrived, and they're just like filling up the house, giving us a visual reminder that we need to get somebody in here to actually put those things where they belong.
It's been so hot, and you're trying to fit all of this house stuff into your life. I'm working a little bit on other things, and I'm also taking care of the kids and doing drop off and pick up, and your time just starts to fly by. I have a lot of respect for the home renovation YouTubers. Their number one job is just like renovating their house. That's what they're doing every day from sun up to sundown, because it is a lot of work.
Like maybe all of this, it was just too much and that we were in over our head. Like who were we to come into a new country and decide that we were going to renovate an old house? Maybe we should have waited until we had all of the money for the project together instead of trying to do something with what we had at the time. Maybe we shouldn't have been so naive, so trusting of others so quickly. Maybe it's us that's the problem in this whole situation. I beat myself up a little bit for the process not being smooth, for having to fire someone, for losing time, and for the stress that I was literally self-inflicting on myself and my family. All of this has made me want to quit and to just give the house back. But then a miraculous thing happened. We left. We packed up our stuff. We emptied our drawers. We moved all the furniture to the middle of the room. We did find somebody to continue the work, and we put the key in a lockbox to be returned at the start of August.
The only way to describe what it felt like to leave is simply relief. Relief to finally be able to feel at ease.
For now, the story and our house, it remains unfinished, but at least for now, I can regain my sanity.